Hi everyone, I'm David Powell from the University of Manchester and I'm delighted to share with you a very short video we've made during the very first conference of the National Consortium for Societal Resilience hosted by the University of Manchester on the 20th and 21st of March 2023. Founded just over a year ago now, the National Consortium is very much part of a national endeavour to strengthen societal resilience to future shocks and crisis. Certainly in the post-COVID world, we're very keen to look to broaden societal resilience beyond the more traditional responses to emergencies that we've maybe experienced in the last 10 to 20 years. We have made a working definition of what we think societal resilience is. We've been very successful at sharing and identifying international and national good practice ideas about how we can broaden those resilience efforts, but in particular we want to concentrate on ensuring that local communities are seen as a valuable resource by responders to emergencies here in the UK and beyond. We'll continue to develop strategies and toolkits. Indeed, the conference was very much about trying to look to the future agenda, see what other things we can usefully do as a consortium, but it was also a great way of building on our growing motto of looking to local whilst listening to national. We had some very effective keynote speeches from the Cabinet Office and Department for Housing and Local Communities. During the 2 days, I took a little bit of time to talk to a number of delegates and ask them for their views on how they thought the conference had progressed, and I really am very pleased to share some of their responses with you now. So let's have a listen.
So we've got so many partners in the room today and they're all coming together. They want to talk, they want to share information, they want to work together, but now we've got to make it real. Now there is a real challenge of how do we turn all this goodwill into something that we can actually do that is of substance. So the NCSR has always been about making change happen. It's always been about helping the different behaviours within communities, within LRFs, within resilience partnerships. That's the challenge. It's how do we turn all this goodwill into something that is actually meaningful in the ground. The size of that challenge I don't think we can underestimate, because everybody is in different places, they've all got different perspectives, and what we need to do as an NCSR is to try and support local to come up to a level that is similar so that they can work with communities in a comfortable and in a manageable way.
Absolutely, it's such an energetic crowd and everyone has a genuine interest to be here, and you can feel everyone's excited. We've got everything. We've got loads of things in common, and to have the forum to discuss deep issues and wide-ranging issues amongst other partners, LRFs, various different voluntary sectors, is fantastic. Yeah, it's a really, really good vibe. I'm glad that we came.
I found it quite inspiring actually to hear that so many people from different industries, backgrounds, third sector, local authorities, and they're all talking about the same concept. How do you strengthen these communities? How do you support local communities and get those voices heard for that overall societal resilience? So I've just found it actually really inspiring and quite encouraging actually.
I think it's been absolutely amazing to see just how many people have come together and actually want to hear what the voluntary sector's got to say. How can we actually get better engaged with our LRFs, with our different partners across sort of the NCSR, and it's been really good just to be able to have that and be able to actually talk to our colleagues in person away from a computer screen.
We have been looking at the right areas, and there was this huge energy and excitement because everybody that spoke, they spoke passionately, they spoke knowledgeably, and realised that in fact everybody in that room was all pulling in the same direction. We all had the same objective. We all want to make a difference, and actually that's carried on today with some great speakers already, and now more and more networking opportunities. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, it's been really good, and what's really been nice about it is the energy in the room. We've talked about a fundamental part of resilience being common purpose, and it's been nice to be in a room where it seems to be that there really is common purpose to make this profession a better one.
The biggest and most important thing for me is it happened. Everybody was in the room and we all were talking, and it was so good to see people who've got like-minded philosophies, who are trying to reach the same thing, which is whole of societal resilience. I think being more specific is looking at the themes, and the themes are coming out of that very much align with what we see as being problems and our challenges when we're dealing with communities, but also when we're dealing and trying to engage risk management authorities with what communities can actually do. And I think in a lot of ways, one thing that came up was we need to enable communities to be able to do more. They're already doing it. What we need to do in a lot of ways is almost get out of their way and allow them to do more rather than being controlled over it. So thank you.
In terms of the conference, I think for us this provides a really interesting opportunity. So we are quite well embedded, as you would expect, as a fire and rescue service in local resilience. But I tend to think that's probably more through the response lens. There is an overlap into recovery and what that looks like into the longer term, but we tend to pull away at that point and think mostly about preparation and response. What the conference is challenging us on now is how to think more broadly, how to think about how we bring partners in earlier into our preparation, how we sustain that relationship through an emergency phase and into the longer term. But more importantly, I think it moves the focus away structurally from emergencies and helps us think about what do we do in the everyday space that contributes to resilience, and how do we think about that wider picture of sustained engagement with different organisations at different points to build what feels like a more complete picture of societal resilience.
Well, I've been blown away actually by the passion of the people that I've met at the conference. The discussion has been wonderful. I've learned a lot, but the real key thing that I'm so happy about is us coming across here from Northern Ireland and meeting our colleagues in the other administrations across the province and learning from them.
Do you know what? What I take away most is we've all got the ability to do something to make our society more prepared for whatever comes up. We've also got the ability to look at the skills, the best practice, network, and deliver something which really makes a meaningful difference now and in the future.
What an incredible couple of days. We've really enjoyed being here. My team have been here. We've also had partners from across the VCS Emergencies Partnership represented, and the energy and the sort of groundswell I think that we feel being amongst LRF colleagues and other partners of the NCSR, it just feels incredibly positive and like we're on the cusp of really getting into the detail now, which feels brilliant.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would say, I think the real opportunity for us to work together is that whilst we have had representation here from the VCS, I also feel a real sense of, I think LRFs feel a real sense of a heavy shoulder essentially in terms of everything that they need to do, and I think a greater representation of VCSEP partners and NCSR partners coming together would give us an opportunity to support the LRFs and for the LRFs to not feel like they have to do it all. There are incredible movements out there already across the voluntary and community sector to do some of this work, and it's just about plugging those gaps.
Now we're in a room together talking about what it means in practice, how we can put it into practice.
So this isn't about having or trying to magnify the issue out into something that's huge. It's about trying to narrow it down onto a very piece of strategic work that can support and that can really deliver something of value for society. It's not about talking anymore, now it's about action.
Yeah.
We've been working alone for too long. We need to work together and continue to work together like we've done over the last 18 months. So let's see what the future holds. Let's see how we can help the UK to nudge things along and working constantly with local government to support that.